Guys, Terry D-Lab project of the day, a Gibson GA-20 amplifier that was shipped to me for repair. Kind of came here in kit form, but a lot of the components removed. This thing's going to need a lot of attention. So what I'm going to do is a multi-part video. So this first video, we'll evaluate the unit, see what it's going to need, see if it's even worth fixing. And then we'll take her step by step until the final product is done. Here we go. Here she is, the Gibson GA-20, in really nice cosmetic shape. It's got the old emblem there, original cloth. She really looks good. You can see the handle's been replaced. Let's flip it around, look at the back. Well, here's the rear of the Gibson GA-20. I've already removed this back panel. You can see that original handle that used to be on the unit's been replaced. Here's the control panel. Gibson of Kalamazoo, right down the road from me. She all looks original. Yeah, there's a little bit of corrosion, but what would you expect, right? Still has the paper caps in there. Everything else looks pretty much original. The speaker has been replaced. That is the original output transformer that has not been wired up yet. You can see here the splicey doodads, right? And it's got the original power transformer, which you can't see, but it's on the rear of the unit. So what I want to do is bring that up first, make sure she'll power, we'll buzz out the output transformer, and if all that looks good, we'll start rebuilding it. So the first thing we're going to do is bring up the main power transformer very slowly using Variac. Verify there's no shorts and no leakage in that transformer. So right now is a good time because none of the tubes are installed, right? So I have a Variac over here. And what we're going to do is come into it with about 40 volts. And you can see we're not drawing any amperage. And that is what I would expect. The only thing that could possibly generate a load right now is the pilot light, right? So we shouldn't see much of any current. Anyway, we'll get our meter and we'll hook up here and start buzzing her out. So I was getting ready for the measurements on the rectifier tube socket, and I noticed that we have something going on. This amp is drawing some current intermittently, all right? It happens when I move this wire, which goes to the dial lamp. So watch my amp meter on the Variac. I'm going to tap that wire. There. See it? Alright, I'm going to kill it. Alright, so obviously we got something going on in this lamp assembly. I was moving this wire, which was flexing this terminal. I don't want to damage the power transformer, so I'm going to throw a meter on here and see if we can figure out what it is. Maybe there's some contamination down in the socket on the bulb. Let's see what's going on. So man, did I call that or what? Look down inside of that lamp socket. It's like the solder's all goobed out. Maybe somebody tried to resolder at one time, but that is shorting out the lamp assembly, which could damage your power transformer. So it's a good thing I caught that. So we're back to running the amplifier with only about 40 volts applied. I'm going to check the high voltage, which goes to the rectifier tube. And we got it. Remember, this is going to be low because I don't have voltage all the way up. So to check the center tap, just go to chassis and one leg. You should see a half of that 200 or so that we just saw, which I do. That's a good thing. Then over here and here, we should see something low because this would be the 5 volts to the rectifier tube. And you can see I only got about a half a volt right now. So if I were to turn up my voltage a little bit, go back there, if I can get a good connection, there we go, jumped right up. So it appears as though the power transformer is good, which is great. Now let's move on to the output transformer. We know the original output transformer was installed on this replacement speaker. So luckily there's a splice area where I can measure the primary going to that transformer. So I'm on ohms 20K. Now it's between red and brown. I see nothing. There's red and blue. I've got about 5K. We go blue to brown. Got nothing. So unfortunately, one side of the primary of the output transformer is bad. So we're going to have to replace that. So obviously we have an issue with the output transformer. So let's make sure that the coil of the replacement speaker is okay. It is about 3.5 ohms. So we know that we're looking for a new output transformer that will hopefully go back here into this original location that is compatible with a pair of 6v6s and gives us 4 ohms output for the speaker. Well, luckily for this guy, in my vast archive of parts, I found an original type transformer for this Gibson. So let's hope mine's good. There's my output winding, the 4 ohm. Let's take a look at the primary. Go back up to the 20K. So we'll go red to brown, or blue I should say. Okay, looks like a little over 300 ohms. Yep, 378. Red to brown, about 299. Brown to blue, about 675 ohms or so. So we got a good output transformer, thank God. So I'm going to install that, get it wired in. We're going to start cleaning this up, repair the power supply, and keep moving forward. All in all, it's looking good right now for the little Gibson GA-20. Thank God that power transformer is good. I can deal with the output transformer. I have a drop-in replacement that would go right on the speaker, and you'll never know it's been changed except for a little bit of heat shrink tubing that'll be on the wires. So at this point, I'm going to pull this chassis out because I need to look at both sides of it when we mount the new filter caps and go through and rebuild it. There's no reason to leave it in the cabinet. I'll go ahead and bolt up the new output transformer, but we obviously won't wire that up to the last step when everything goes back together. So it's looking good. Let's keep on it going. Chassis dropped out. There's that original power transformer. Looks good. Got a screw here, it's loose, probably used to hold the original filter caps. See what we can get. Look at there. Came out of the lamp assembly. So maybe I'll be able to clean that up, get the solder globs out, and keep the original lamp assembly in there. Here's the bottom side. You can see we need to do some cleanup, and of course every paper cap needs to leave. It's going to be a fun project. So to remove the nuts, got the speaker out. There's the little Jensen number there. There's the output transformer that we have to replace. Cone looks good. Let's get her done. New output transformers mounted up. Solder here to the old speaker conoramus. Now I'm just going to put the speaker back in the cabinet to protect it, and then later on we'll connect up to primaries. Alright, we're coming along nicely on the GA-20. I found this old record player lid, and this is going to be the boneyard for all the parts that I remove, because I will be returning those to the original owner. I also have the tubes that he sent me that are in these boxes. I'm not going to bother looking at those yet until we have the power supply repaired in the main amplifier. So that is going to be the next step. Okay, so that's a wrap on part 1 of the Gibson GA-20 amplifier restoration. This is the initial inspection. So we know what we have, we know what we need to do. In part 2, I'm going to go into repairing the power supply, which will be installing the new filter caps, and also install all new caps and get those paper ones out. So we'll see you in part 2.